Hi, Professor. This is Preston Pham, and I'm here to do my video in regards how I was able to complete the working paper on my topic of information technology, its impact on world growth. So this is the outline to my paper. That I have the abstract, also the table of contents. I have the introductions, the IT prelude, which talks about a little background about how the industrial revolution started that led to different technologies out there, and I also juxtaposed the time frame from the industrial revolution and also information technologies revolutions, and then how the industrial revolution did not spread out throughout the world so fast, and then for information technology, the externalities and then the transfer of knowledge, and have exceeded a lot of expectations from many people. So I feel like this introduction of mine is very good, and I went down to, as I've mentioned earlier, it's IT prelude. Down to here, I talked about R&D, how the U.S. had the capital, the type of governments for promotion of growth, and then down here I've did more research about the world growth, how the ratios from 1989 all the way to 2004, and then which some of the countries that make up for that piece of pie, and then the G7, which includes the top economies. There's Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, United Kingdom, and United States, and then down here is Brazil, China, Indonesia, and etc. And then down here, I did a literature review of many my literature review. Here it is, and then this is in regards to previous authors. They wrote here in Young Chun and Choa. She wrote about the impacts of information technology on total factor productivity. So this is she's comparing GDP and TFP, and then also such as other factors such as IT-induced externalities and IT leveraged innovations. So this is most of her analysis and empirical methods, and then also down here is somebody else did Landon and Clyde. He did the impact of IT investment on innovation productivity. So this is more like R&D and then innovations. So that was my literature review. I also combined, my favorite authors is Brian Jobson and Hitt. They were very helpful to me when I was able to get a hold of him. Brian Jobson, but I didn't get a hold of Hitt. And then also I looked at some other articles such as D1 and Min. In total, I have 15 articles that I found online, and I separate them in good articles in these, and then so there's 15. I label them 1 to 15, so it could be anonymous. I don't get confused, or I could get biased by their titles. So for this one, I looked at pure on this content. For number 2, for example, this one is the transfer of IT in the average world. I've read skimmed it over, and most of it is not that good. I just looked at the research background and the theoretical framework. So this guy was able to have the money to do some survey that he has for he has relevant questions and portions of questionnaire, and he did for 3,000 people over in the Middle East. This guy has the capital for that. And I also looked at number 4 here, which is India's economics development. I felt this was a really good article. And then this one was ERP investment. So throughout I looked at all 15 of them. And then this is the New Society, which I felt this one is somewhat good, but it was just too broad. That didn't pertains to anything specify in either productivity or anything. It was just a little bit broad. And I chose other ones, such as this one talks about challenges for developing countries, technology. So this was good one, and I highlight some of the the parts that I want to learn more about it and do my research and then do my recon online. So this is critical review and empirical evidence. So this one is talks about different empirical evidence from the past. But I thought this was a very good paper. Also down here, this guy talks about international comparison productivity growth, the role of information technology, and regulatory practices. So this guy talks more about political and policies, different throughout the world. So I looked at some of his literature, what he has done in the past, what he has read. So this guy talks about Piot and Lee finds IT producing sector has important contributions to growth in Finland, Japan, and Korea, which is somewhat related because the impact on Asia's frontier. And over here is Dale Jorgensen. He's an author for many IT information technologies articles. So this one he compares from 1989 to 2004, which is exactly the time frame for this paper here. But this is from it's from Jorgensen. So this guy was really good about it, about his topic. And over here is my article I read literature review in the past, and over here, which is I feel this is a really good paper. It's a cross country analysis. It's a working paper, and then this one is I think this in UNN. This is in Malaysia, I believe, or United Nations University. Yeah, so this one is, a pool only 23 developed countries from OECD, which is similar to I pulled my data from OECD with a wider range of countries. So for this article of Dale Jorgensen, he just did pretty much the tables, but he did not do any type of regressions. They're mostly just percentage, but nothing, with coefficients. There are coefficients, but I meant there's no statistics, regressions like how we do it on a research paper. This is a little bit too broad, so I want to, take that scope and then do a little bit more details. So over here I have other articles. Yeah, and then the handbooks, and then this is my literature review, the past, and then this is my tech growth, information technology and growth. So this is Dale and Kevin Stira. And then it just talks about, other things, capital service of consumers' durables, substitutions toward computers, and etc. This is just to provide a quick, more backgrounds and stuff. It's relevant, but not particularly mine, because mine is on about the Asia's frontier. And then now I go into the data, which I pulled online. So I have my data open, and I just go to import and spreadsheet, and I browse through the world IT growth data that I've found online on OECD, and I extract it out. So I want to do import first row as variable names. Okay, this is it. And then since this is a panel data, so I cannot, and also cross country. So usually I'll just do reg, and then now this time today I want to measure GDP, the R&D IT investment, TFP output, labor input, and then usually I'll just do robust R. Okay, and then this is a simple one. but it does not look very right to me. So TFP, okay, as GDP goes up, TFP coefficients. Okay, the t-value, p-value, oh, the p-value is not that good. Okay, that looks something wrong, so I want to do xt set, and I want to do year. Okay, it's balanced, and now I want to do xtreg, and I want to do GDP, TFP, IT, some of that, and I want to FE, fixed effect, okay, and then I also can do summarize, okay, and then I can also do correlate, you know, some of the variables out here, and then I also, you know, did some researches online about panel data analysis, fixed and random effects. This is from Princeton University. So some of the commands that taught me is to use, okay, they've taught me to use, to extract it to get this table out here. Okay, where is that? Okay, so I can do x reg 2 using this and replace this model 1. So I was able to do that, and then I got this table out here. I got out some tables, and it's just you know, a trial, you know, hit or miss, and then after that, it's mostly trial and error. And then now when I go into here, so they're labeled, and I also did it manually. I've labeled them, you know, for whatever region they are. Let's say, for example, region 1 would be, you know, the seven countries. Is mine. I did list out accordingly. Jorgensen is the top 7 economies, which I list them as number 1. And you know, for number 2, this is just like, you know, for all the countries in Europe. And then number 3 would be all the countries in Asia. So I have Bangladesh, Cambodia. This is China, Hong Kong, India, Indonesia. So I took this list. Oh, okay. I can unfilter it later. Okay, so I can go to here, and then this is the one that I extracted out. I only selected group number 3. This is only group number 3. There's Cambodia, Hong Kong, Indonesia, Nepal, South Korea, Thailand, and Vietnam, Sri Lanka. So this one, I take that and I put it into theta, and then I do the same doing that. So for my challenge is that, you know, I can write many things because I've, you know so much about information technology. I've have my whole IT learning, and I have my data analytics learning. You know, I just know so much about information technology that I can write so much about it. It's just the math part. I know, you know, for people who, you know, are very mathematicians and statistics people, they write the paper with, you know, very good math, but except, like, you know, they write their paper not very well in English, or, you know, very complicated to read. You know, I make mine, you know, very simple and very straightforward to read. However, you know, what I'm struggling is that, you know, labeling out the formula here, which is, you know, I might need help on that. You know, I did take econometrics back for my bachelor's degree. You know, it was in my junior year, so which I've, you know, kind of forgotten now. But I want to, you know, revisit my econometrics teacher, or you know, find help. I know that Yogesh Chapal from Youngstown State University, he teaches econometrics. Maybe I can reach out to him to see if he can, you know, help me some of the econometrics. But I did do a lot of research on my own. You know, I did read over this data commands. longitude and data panel data reference manual, to see what some of the regressions I can do. I can do some of, I'm a quick learner, so I can do, a lot of the commands, trying to do it on my own as just, trial and error and just trying to see if I can use all these commands. And, I'm able to look up online how to interpret them. It's just the thing that, formatting and formulating the formula is a little bit difficult for me. I'm trying to learn, do the delta, some of the stuff that I've learned from the past, and trying to refresh my memories and recall from memories how to do them. But so far, these are the tables that I use. I take out some of the, the variables, and then do different type of, commands on data. So I know you mentioned to me that the tenses that I use, you want me to use present tense, and then sometimes I do past tense because this IT prelude talks about the past, and then kind of mess up my tenses. But I will go back and write everything back to present tense. And then for this paper, it's still a working paper, so the conclusion and also the empirical analysis is not balanced or proportionate to the whole entire article yet. But now I've narrow the paper down to 18 pages, shorten it down, so I can add some of the analysis and then methodologies, so it can be equally proportioned for the article. So I think now to the I still have about a week and a half left to complete the paper to turn in. So I will work. My main concentration is on the data, methodologies, and the analysis. And I think this will be a very good article because I've feel very confident, and this is one of a major interest of mine in information technology. So I think this will be a great paper overall. Thanks again, Professor, for watching this, and I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.